For the third week in a row, Hubble is making a starring appearance on our show. This week, the Space Telescope has spotted Comet Atlas breaking up. Dr. Brad Tucker and I dive into this, talking science, story of the week.
Across Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts and YouTube, this is Talking Science with Dr. Brad Tucker and Matt Miller.
Alrighty, well, the Hubble Space Telescope has captured Comet Atlas breaking up. I get the impression, Brad, that Hubble doesn't want us to forget about it. It's the third week in a row it's been in our story. It's been in a starring role on our show.
Yeah, it really has. We were just talking about the 30th anniversary, and it does keep making discoveries, and that's because it is powerful to see these sorts of things. And comets, as we're talking about the meteor shower, they're fairly small. They're not big. The nucleus, it's only a couple of kilometers. And we do know they eventually melt and break up. We see this in the tails, and we do know they fragment. But to actually see the process of them breaking apart, the nucleus breaking apart, requires a big telescope with clear images. And that's, again, once was turned to as the Hubble to spot this cosmic breakup.
And now, Comet Atlas, I believe we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, didn't we? That we were hopeful that we were going to see it by the naked eye.
Yeah, it was becoming a very bright comet. So essentially, as it gets near the sun, especially for comets that make their first trip in their solar system, so periodic comets like Halley's have most of their outside, melted, and so it's just kind of layers coming off. If you're a comet that's coming into the solar system for the first time, what we call the non-periodic comets, they have a bunch of stuff that is going to melt. And so sometimes a little bit melts, sometimes a lot, but sometimes too much where it melts too much, and like an ice cube, it breaks apart. And that's what happened in this case. It was coming in, it was brightening really quickly. People were hopeful, and some people were starting to spot it definitely with small telescopes, but binoculars and almost a naked eye. But apparently too much of it, and it wasn't held together too tightly to withstand the solar wind and pressure, causing it to break up, and it's disintegrated in space.
Are we going to have another meteor shower here, or is this one going to just fly past us?
Well, look, we won't really see anything from this. It will just kind of be hanging.
It's all gone.
Yeah, it's pretty much all gone. If we rightly somehow pass through it, but it's still actually quite far from Earth and not in our orbit, so we're not going to see much of it. It's always a bit of a disappointment. Comets are like cats. You have no idea what they're going to do. They don't like you. They have big tails, and sometimes they flaunt it, and sometimes they just ignore you. That's a comet, essentially, is a cat. So they're a crapshoot. But there may be another one. Comet Swan, discovered in Victoria, is becoming bright. Some people are reporting it now, naked eye visibility. Have to be in a really dark spot. And if it continues over the next couple of weeks, it'll be a great thing to see here in our southern skies.
That's right. I was trying to remember. I knew there were two comets that have been spotted that were coming towards us. So Atlas was the first one. There's Swan to come as well. So there's still a possibility that we might see another or a comet in the nighttime sky.
That's right. We'll have to see how it behaves and what it does. And again, as they make their first trip in the solar system, it's really hard to figure out exactly what's going to happen with them, especially if they get too close to the sun, how they come from around the sun. So there's a bunch of different things that happen to it. But it may work. It may be very bright, and at its current rate, it'll get bright enough to be seen in decent spots. But it's a wait and see game. But the great thing is at least the skies are putting on a show for us while we're all stuck inside.
Absolutely. Should Hubble be tasked to watch this one, just in case it does break up, and we can have some more beautiful photos?
You can imagine it will be spotted with Hubble. I'm sure it is. Hubble's always used for these sorts of things, especially when you get very bright naked eye comets that are making their first journey in the solar system, because there's a lot to learn about what they're made up of, what's on the outside, how heavy they are, how heavy they're bound. For also simple purposes, knowing what comets are made up of and how strong they are, so that if one's going to hit Earth or another planetary body, we know what to do, because they have hit planets. We saw this with Shoemaker-Levy 9 hitting Jupiter in 1994 and the hole it created.